Linson is the successful president of a company that produces cosmetics and makeup products. At the moment, the man is sad because he has lost the love of his life. Sitting on the windowsill all alone, Linson decides to write a letter to the girl he lost. Every day near her was filled with joy and positive emotions, and only after the parting he realized that he truly loved her and wanted to be near her. They have not seen each other for a long time, and he does not know if he will have another chance, but he really hopes that the beauty will get the letter and change her attitude to him. A few months before these events, Linson is fully focused on the company and is preparing to release a new line of cosmetics called Cinderella. Things are not going well for the company, and it is facing a number of financial difficulties, which can be taken advantage of by competitors. The father asks his son to solve all the difficulties by doing him just one favor. The father wants Linson to marry the daughter of the competitor, the beautiful Fang Qiao, but the man refuses as he has no feelings for her. Lin Lu is an active, cheerful girl who is in constant motion and looking for work. She is very responsive, so she helps her best friend Jianqin to blog and does her best to make the girl look as attractive as possible in the picture. Late for work, Lin Lu hurries to a cafe, but on the way, she gets a call from Master Lan, who informs her that he has managed to book her for an interview at a large company looking for a makeup specialist. Rejoicing, Lin Lu sees nothing around her and accidentally collides with the beauty Fang Qiao, almost knocking her down. Once at the workplace, the girl sees that Fang Qiao is their visitor, who is meeting her fiancé. The rich woman has prepared for the man several options for a wedding suit and offers a solution to all financial difficulties, but he categorically refuses to marry because he has no feelings for her. Lin Lu is shocked by what is happening, as Fang Qiao is a real beauty and anyone would dream of being near her. In the evening, Lin Lu spends time with her friends and promises herself to do everything to get the coveted vacant position. The next morning, she rushes to the interview but stops to buy coffee. At some point, a strong wind starts to blow and the girl's scooter falls on the road. Linson, who was rushing to the office, doesn't notice the scooter and runs over it, breaking the girl's vehicle. She is very angry and decides to memorize the boar's number so she can bill him for the repairs the next time she sees him. Soon, Lin Lu finds herself at the company's office and decides to take some pictures. Unaware that Linson is the getaway driver and the man who owns the company, she asks him to take some pictures. The rich man doesn't understand what the naive girl wants and ignores her request. Lin Lu assumes that he is one of the office workers and tries to make friends, but Linson avoids communication in every possible way. He defiantly remains silent, thinking the girl is crazy, and leaves the elevator, never to see her again. In the office, he is met by Fa Qiao, who again offers to save the company from the crisis. All the subordinates and the board of directors have quit amid financial problems, so Linson is obliged to accept the offer of help. He ignores Fang Qiao's willingness to become the advertising face of the brand, as he is not going to accept the terms of the deal and marry her. After the conversation, he asks his assistant to make sure no outsiders enter his office anymore, and also ignores his father's calls. Meanwhile, Lin Lu tries to find someone who invited her to the interview, but learns that almost the entire staff has quit. The girl closes herself in the bathroom and gets very upset, realizing that her dreams have crumbled. Fang Qiao accidentally overhears Lin Lu talking to Master Lan and asks him to help her with her makeup. The makeup expert makes the rich girl even more attractive, making the photo shoot extremely successful. Lin Lu would like to feel as beautiful as she is, and Fang Qiao asks the photographer to support her. After the photo shoot, Fang Qiao offers Ling Lu a job, which makes her happy, as the local workers report that she is the fiancée of the company's owner. A little later, Linson leaves the office to meet a friend. He gives him shoe covers so that the rich man can walk on the beach and not ruin his shoes with sand. At some point, the friend has to leave urgently, and Linson walks alone. Enjoying the beauty of the sea is hindered by the scream of a girl hiding nearby. As it turns out, this girl is Lin Lu, who is beyond happy, and shares the good news even with the rocks. Linson asks the girl to be quiet and chases her off the beach. Unwilling to obey, Lin Lu decides to be rude, but slips and accidentally falls into the arms of a man. Both are shocked by what happened and feel as awkward as possible, not realizing that they are being photographed by the paparazzi. Angry at the man's behavior, Lin Lu runs away from the beach as she suddenly notices a car running over her scooter. Not knowing who its owner is, She leaves a note demanding compensation for moral and material damage. Soon this note is found by Linson, and he realizes that he must pay as soon as possible, as he does not want his reputation to suffer. The next morning, all the media publishes a picture showing Linson hugging some girl. The reporters cover the event as if the rich man is secretly dating a mistress and cheating on his future wife, Fang Qiao. He is furious at what is happening because he hardly knows Lin Lu, and everything that happened is a ridiculous accident. On the way to work, the girl notices that the car is driven by the same Linson, and it was he who ran over her scooter. Soon Lin Lu comes to the office of the company and informs that she will work here as a makeup master. Master Lan, who is her friend and the head of the department, is extremely happy about this, but has not received an order from the management. A moment later, Maggie, Linson's assistant, who has come to talk to Lin Lu, also appears here. She offers the girl money as moral compensation, but not for the scooter, but for the photo that appeared on the internet. During the conversation, Lin Lu learns that this rude and mysterious man is the director of the company. She realizes that the man's fiance will be angry if she learns about this news, which means that Lin Lu will not be able to work here. At the same time, the girl agrees to do anything for the director to whitewash his reputation and is not afraid of being judged or criticized. She is willing to be the victim and the perpetrator of the situation and gladly accepts money for whatever damage her reputation will suffer. Linson overhears the conversation and thinks the girl is incredibly stupid, as no one would agree to avoid conflict for such a small sum of money. Fang Qiao and Linson's best friend also see the photo online and the scandal that started because of it. The father argues with his son, but Linson promises to solve the problems as their company's stock continues to fall amid the recent news. Fang Qiao offers a way out of the situation as she has saved photos of Lin Lu. They can pretend that the girl is a photo model who took part in the shoot and their hug was part of a premeditated scenario. Linson realizes that this is a good idea since people on the internet think Lin Lu is Cinderella caught in a fairy tale. As a result, he hires her to work in Master Lan's department as a makeup specialist. On her first day of work, Lin Lu does a great job and does makeup for several clients. Soon she receives a call from the hospital informing her that an organ donor is willing to donate a kidney for her sick younger brother. Lin Lu is happy and promises herself to earn good money to cure her brother completely. Moments later, she gets a call from Maggie inviting her to meet the principal. The girl feels awkward and tries to apologize for many stupid things, but that's not why the man decided to meet. He asks Lin Lu to sign a contract and become the new advertising face of the company. The girl agrees and asks for only 100,000 yen, which is 10 times less than a model should receive. Linson is amazed by Lin Lu's stupidity, and her friend criticizes her for such a small fee. The next morning, co-workers are jealous of the girl who has become the face of the company. At the moment when there is no one in the department, Lin Lu decides to take off her shoes to give her feet a rest from high heels. Linson checks on the department and asks the girl to have a presentable appearance. While trying to put on her shoes, Lin Lu once again accidentally falls into the arms of the company director, which puts them in an even more awkward position. Unfortunately for the couple, a paparazzo shows up at the department at the most inopportune moment and takes new provocative pictures. Linson's best friend supports Chen Qiao in this situation, but only because he secretly loves the girl and dreams of being with her. In the evening, Ling Lu gets another call from the hospital and is told that everything is ready for the operation, but for this she must pay 500,000 yen within 24 hours. After collecting all the money she has earned, the girl realizes that she only has a third of the amount. Despite the unreality of the task, she decides to do everything possible to find the money and save the life of her younger brother. The next morning, Maggie reports that the rumors and PR stunt had a good effect on the sales of the new cosmetics from the Cinderella line. In spite of this, the businessman has to give up the idea of getting closer to Lin Lu because his parents have officially announced his engagement to Fang Qiao. At the same time, Lin Lu decides to grab any job, no matter how difficult it is for her. She takes a part-time job as a courier and washes cars in the middle of the street. She is forced to run away from the police, but she is not going to stop there and washes dishes in the nearest cafe, as well as handing out flyers in the costume of a funny pig. A little later, Lin Lu calls friends and relatives to ask them for some money. Most of them promise to lend some of the money, and Lin Lu gradually gets closer to her goal. In the evening, she goes to a nightclub where she is promised a good income and 10% of the alcohol sales. Thinking that this is an excellent sum, Lin Lu accepts the job, unaware of the consequences. She is forced to serve customers in a sexy dress and doesn't notice that the paparazzi keep following her, taking several compromising photos. The next morning, it is revealed online that Lin Lu is not only Linson's mistress, but also an easily available girl working at a bar for adult and single men. Linson learns this and feels disappointed, as Linlu seemed like a sweet, silly, and naive girl, but now he realizes that this is not the case. The businessman's father also finds out about the incident and asks him to immediately fire Linlu, who has dishonored their brand. Meanwhile, Master Lon calls potential clients and agrees to sell his place at a record low price to help Linlu in her predicament. Soon Fang Xiao reemerges and offers to pick out wedding cards. Lingson rudely rejects the bride and informs her that he does not want to marry her and is in a relationship with another girl. Fang Xiao realizes that this is Linlu we're talking about, but doesn't believe the rich man, thinking it's an attempt to insult her. A little later, she tells about the quarrel to Yang Zichen, who supports Fang Qiao in every possible way because of his sympathy for her. Linlu is unable to collect the full amount, and her friend suggests talking to her boss to collect some of her salary in advance. Realizing that this is the only option, Linlu goes out with Linson, but he's not in the mood because of her nightclub photo. He insults the girl with an offer to be his kept woman, for which she steps on the man's foot and slaps him. In the morning, Linlu again calls friends and relatives who promise to give her money, but all of them refuse her. She is once again in a catastrophic situation and time is running out. The girl must do everything possible to save her brother and pay for the operation. Maggie finds out all the information about Linlu and brings the boss a dossier. Thanks to this, Linson learns that the girl is an orphan and was telling the truth about her sick brother who needs an expensive operation. In the evening, Linlu is forced to return to the night bar to continue serving customers. A drunken company insults her and offers her a drink, but the girl refuses and breaks a glass. One of the guys decides to hit her, but Linson appears in the club, who defends the girl and, taking her in his arms, carries her outside. Feeling in love and having a new look at the rich man, Linlu agrees to become a kept woman and sign a love contract. The couple has dinner at a street restaurant, which at first shocks the rich man, but he manages to overcome his fear of germs and infection. The next morning, the couple enters into a 100-day love contract, under the terms of which Linlu receives the necessary 500,000 yuan to pay for a kidney transplant operation for her brother. The next morning, the girl struggles to stay on her feet due to having spent all night learning the rules of the love contract. Linson decides to see if she has managed to memorize anything and realizes that the girl is not ready for a relationship. Despite this, he brings her to an expensive boutique to pick out a beautiful dress. Linlu does not understand what the man is up to and where they are going. Meanwhile, he receives a call from his father and best friend, who are waiting for Lingson at the country house, as he and Fang Qiao are to have their engagement today. Soon the couple shows up at the banquet holding hands, which shocks all the guests present. Linson tries to force the girl to let go, but he declares that they are in a relationship. This further shocks the audience as well as the journalists. Linson's father declares that this is a bad joke and forces his son to announce his imminent marriage to Fang Qiao. Not wanting to do so and clearly proving his words, Linson kisses Linla, which shocks not only the guests but also the girl herself, who did not expect such a turn of events. Having spoiled the engagement, the couple leaves the country house and quarrels in the courtyard. The girl is dissatisfied with the fact that Linson kissed her and promises to cancel the love contract, but she cannot do it. In case of unilateral termination, she has to pay a penalty of several million, and she does not have such an opportunity. In the evening, the girl remembers the kiss with a smile on her face and realizes that every day she falls more and more in love with a rich man. Friends learn about the scandal and try to find out the details of their relationship, but Linlu avoids the conversation, afraid to blab and say too much. At the same time, Yan Zichen supports Fang Qiao in every possible way and hints at sympathy on his part. The pretty girl ignores this, considering him her friend, and promises to do everything to get love from Lingson. The next morning, Linlu decides to set new terms for the rich man to forbid any physical contact, including hugs and kisses. She meets Fang Qiao in the office and feels awkward, which makes her decide to apologize to her. At one point, the girl almost talks about the love contract, but Linson closes her mouth in time. The couple agrees on additional terms of the contract, after which Linson confirms that he is ready to do anything not to marry Fang Qiao, as he has no feelings for her. According to the new rules, Linglu is forbidden to tell about the love contract, and she promises to keep quiet. Soon the girl invents a romantic story of their acquaintance and attacks the rich man with 100 messages. At the same time, Linson's father invites her to his house. The girl lies about their acquaintance and exposes herself herself as a person who thinks only of money. The father suspects that Lin Lu is dating his son for money, but Linson interferes with their conversation. The couple decides to go to a nightclub where the girl gets drunk and has no control over herself. Not realizing that Linson is beside her, she tells him about a love contract with a rich man. At one point, the girl vomits on the man, which seems horrible. Lin Lu can't tell him where she lives, so Linson is forced to take her to his house. In the morning, the girl remembers hugging the man and not letting him go all night. She is ashamed of such behavior, but Linson feels sympathy for Lin Lu and proposes to start living together.